Yes, good morning and welcome to P&B Morning Show, where we examine the major issues shaping our nation. Yes, our first conversation focuses on Sunday Adeyemo, a figure widely not associated with the Yoruba self-determination movement. His perceived alignment with the ruling All Progressives No Congress has sparked debate. Yes, debate across the Southwest. For some, it represents political strategy and survival in a complex system. For others, it raises a difficult question. Has the struggle for Yoruba self-determination been compromised? Or is this simply the reality of engaging power to achieve results? Then we turned our attention to the northeast, where renewed attacks by Boko Haram in parts of Borno State are raising fresh concerns about security. So despite years of military operations, the resurgence of violence has left many Nigerians asking whether the country is truly winning the war against insurgency or facing another dangerous phase in a long battle. These are the tough questions on the table this morning on P&B Morning Show, right here on Politics and Business Television Abuja. So stay with us. So I am Omike Joseph Matthew, and as always, I have Chidi here with me. Good morning to you, Chidi.
Yes, a very good morning to you, OJ Martins, and good morning to our viewers. I'm sure you had a very good night rest, OJ.
Of course, I did.
Okay, welcome.
Despite all the dramas happening now in the polity.
The atmosphere is loaded with drama. Drama. I think we need to start segmenting it to episode 1, season 2.
All right, so you're welcome to the show. So we have a whole lot to discuss this morning, and yes, where do we begin? Let's begin with the review of the newspapers, as always, to see what the papers have for us this morning. And so what we'll now do is to go for a quick break, and when we return, then of course the newspaper review will take center stage. All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the P&B Morning Show, and it is time for the review of some of the papers we have for you this morning. So let's check them out without wasting time and react to these stories. Our very first paper this morning is the Vanguard newspaper. The Vanguard newspaper has this story, with this banner headline: Nasarawa, Kogi, Benue in grip of terror. Residents reveal routes, or what you call routes in some instances, and transit camps. This is serious.
Residents are the one revealing it now.
Revealing, yes, they are revealing the routes
where they are staying,
where they are passing, where they are staying.
The route where they pass, and camps.
Yes,
camps means where they are staying.
Of course,
and the residents are aware.
They are aware. They are.
So why come some quarters will come and tell us that they are trying to locate where the Boko Harams are? Is it that these people are not? This shows that the people are reachable. They are reachable. Residents reviews.
Yes. So according to the report, residents are now telling the world that, look, this is where they pass, this is where they stay. And
they are giving the intelligent reports.
Yes, so yet the security forces are still finding it difficult to still locate.
It's not difficult, OJ, to locate. If the resident can, tell us where these people are, is that somebody somewhere is compromising the whole, process? Because somebody is telling you, look at where these criminals are hiding.
Yes.
Then what is stopping you from attacking them?
It's a serious problem. Let's continue with what Vanguard have for us this morning. And of course, interesting story: Middle East war spreads as Trump says he must okay Iran's next supreme leader. Okay. And amend electoral acts or we will boycott 2027 elections, IPAC. For IPAC, IPAC is saying that the electoral act must be amended. And you begin to ask when or how you want to boycott the next election. Are we moving forward or moving backward?
Well, it depends on the weight they carry. You know, sometimes you see, I see this coming, OJ. I see this coming because I think there's a statement I stumbled into a few weeks ago. One of the top politicians was saying something that they're likely to boycott the next election if the needful is not done in this what we call the Electoral Act, the brand new Electoral Act, and we're likely to see more of this, decisions and the standpoints from different groups, because truth be told, a lot of people are not still comfortable with the Electoral Act. A lot of people are not comfortable with it. They still have their fears, they still have their concerns. Looking at even what just happened and the recently concluded Abuja polls, it shows that it's more or less the type of shadow of what we're expecting to see.
Yes, the issue is
allegedly.
Yeah, is boycotting the next poll the problem.
Is a way of making your bold statement that look, OJ, let me tell you the truth. If I don't know how powerful IPAC is anyway.
Of course, they are powerful. It is, the coming together of different political parties. So they call them the Inter-Party Advisory Council. So it's all the major opposition parties, coming together to have one voice. So it's a body. So they are powerful.
They carry some weight.
They carry some weight.
So if IPAC comes out to say they're going to boycott this election, it calls for serious concern, OJ. Because are you going to contest for yourself?
Now, the question is, what is even the contention here? What is their problem? Now, the problem IPAC has is, the new provision in the Electoral Act does not give room for indirect primaries. That is their major problem, indirect primaries, which they are used to. So the argument is that the INEC or the law should not dictate for parties what they want to do, as in how to get their candidates or to field for elections. And they do that through indirect primaries. So what the new provision has is direct primaries. So the issue of using delegates, we discussed this thing yesterday that the use of delegates and all
that. It's not a thing of the past.
Yes, that causes a lot of intra-party problems.
And even overspending.
Good. So the new Electoral Act is saying no more indirect primaries anymore. And this is where the issue is. So they are arguing that, look, it is a family problem. You should not tell me how to run my family.
It's an internal issue.
Internal issue, yes.
But I also want to add, OJ, in as much as you want to concur with what you are saying.
I'm not trying to, I'm only explaining, please.
Yes, but I would like to, I'm also concurring to what you are saying too.
Okay.
In as much I want to agree that what happens in London should stay in London. Where that is the resemblance of what IPAC is trying to project. However, we also look at the holistic interest of a common man in Nigeria. People seem to have some form of negative perception on this new Electoral Act that was signed into law. The clause that was removed, the real-time transmission and the rest of them. And I've heard so many people saying, why did you touch that real-time? Why go for that? Why go for that very clause? And one of the opposition parties, that is the African Democratic Congress, was the first to kick against it. Because they are the big players in the field. They understand the gimmicks. They understand it more than me and you. Because they know that when it comes to the law or when it comes to interpretation of certain things, is and was, they are not the same thing, OJ. They are not. Shall and will.
Yeah, will.
They are not the same thing. Yeah. I shall do it and I will do it. They are not. One is saying must. One is saying where. One is sitting on the fence. I will. That means I may likely not do. The one said I shall. It's compelling you. So they understand these things, and these are the little things that will raise the dust when litigation starts. OG.
Okay, now let's try and talk about the stance of IPAC or some political parties, as it were, on the issue of direct primaries and indirect primaries. Now, the new electoral law has suggested that going forward,
because it's signed.
Yeah, you understand that going forward, let members of the party
decide who is going to be their flag bearer.
Thank you. But the parties are saying, you don't tell us how to run our family. So they want to insist on the indirect, using this delegate issue. And that brings to the question, is that why the INEC chairman spoke the other day that, understand? So
it is contributing to more of their problems.
Yes.
I think I want to agree at this level.
So,
yes, I'm beginning to see it. I'm beginning to see it from another standpoint of view. The delegate issue has not done us well democratically. Let's be very honest.
So we should try
that
form first.
There's no harm in trying what is new, OJ. Yes. That's not
because what is constant is change.
We keep mouthing it and we are not practicing it. Change is constant. Are we changing? No. OJ, let's try I think I want to commend whoever brought that idea. Yes.
That let the members of the party.
It gives you a sense of belonging as a member of a political party. It shows that the voice of an average member of a party speaks volume. When you reduce it to delegates somehow feel arrogance. They feel sense of ownership. They can wield their hammer whichever way they want to wield it.
And that is
depending on the highest spender.
And that is where they make, some of them make their money.
Yes. In fact, some people lobby to become delegates.
Delegates, yes.
Waiting for presidential primaries.
Yes.
Because some presidential candidates allegedly pay as much as $20,000 per delegate. 15,000.
We've had instances like that in the past.
We've had issues like that allegedly. We've seen it. We've heard it in the past. When you see, in fact, OJ, some aspirant will book down. Let me tell you one funny thing. Some of these aspirant big players have hotels.
Yes.
Big hotels. Go to me anywhere. They have hotels. And when it's time for the delegate primaries, they bring all their delegates. I have witnessed one of the elections of a major political party in this country. The delegates, an aspirant did not lobby, did not woo anybody. 1 week to the primaries, he came back from wherever he traveled to and lodged everybody in one hotel and gave each delegate huge amount of money.
Yes.
And he won the primaries.
I know being a delegate in Nigeria, this delegate system or this
indirect business, is political business.
Yes, that is this the indirect primaries that we are talking about here. Once you get to a certain position in your party, you are automatic delegate. Maybe a local government chairman, a ward chairman. That is why they struggle
ward
for secretary or state chairman. You understand? You are automatic delegates and all that. And so when it comes to the primary election, it is you people that all those kind of politicking that happens within the party and all that. But let's try a new system. I'm not trying to say okay, all is well with the Electoral Act and all that, but can we just try something else?
This new Electoral Act, I think, is it direct? The one that the direct something?
That is what the new Electoral Act is talking
it's
about. And IPAC is saying that they should do away with it. They should not tell us how to run our family.
They should do indirect.
That it's indirect they are comfortable with.
The direct election is more or less like a mock examination.
Yes,
it's a mock.
You
test your popularity internally first.
Yes, thank you. I think that's the best word.
You test your popularity and your acceptability internally first.
Internally first, yes.
Before you can now know whether you are marketable outside there. That's the simple truth. Let's know, and secondly, it also gives us an idea to know the strength of the party. In terms of number.
Yeah, I think I align with you there.
If you claim you have 2 million registered members.
Oh yeah, now.
Let's see it. So if you can score 1.5 million at the delegate level,
at
the primary level, it shows you are marketable.
Yes.
Those 1.5 million can translate into 15 million votes.
Yes.
It's all about 131. And it even makes campaign cheaper. Because when you have 1.5 million people out of 2 million so-called members voting you spend less when it comes to campaign. You talk less, you spend less, because that 1.5 will run with the vision and run with whoever you are and sell it You will become easily marketable. But it is confining it to some restricted people
who
have
now
this sense of,
decide for the
sense of
members
ownership,
of
they
the
have
party.
this high sense of hierarchy, and that corruption will be promoted. And that is why most of our primaries are very expensive. OJ, when it's time for primaries, go to Zone 4 and see the way dollarization of primary. Come and see the way people come and see dollar business selling like wildfire. Go to Zone 4 here. Anytime there is a major primary, you will see it. Even for you to go and ask those that are into traveling agency, do you even see dollar to give to those travelers? It's difficult because some of these big players allegedly we buy off these dollars, and of course we know what goes on. Well, you know, people don't like us to say these things, but it's true.
You see, I think this will surely be one of the topics we'll try and address one of these days. This issue of the issue of direct and indirect primaries. Which one is good for us as a country to strengthen our democracy? We'll try and look at that.
Looking at this argument, this one, I think I want to subscribe to direct primaries.
So let's check one more headline there before we move to our next paper. Tinubu prioritize 2027 over governors, so says ADC. ADC are actually talking all the time. So away from politics, let's look at what is happening in the power sector. Our power crisis worsen as generation drops 11% to 2,898 megawatts. Oh my God, that's not really good for Nigeria. And blames poor gas supply for that reason. Nigeria,
we keep blaming so many things.
So many things.
So the national grid collapsed today, gas supply collapsed. And we have enough sunlight in the north that can power the whole of West Africa. So why are we not going for alternative energy?
Alternative energy, it costs money and political will.
We have the raw materials.
So let's move on.
Lithium is there, OJ.
Let's move on.
Californium is there, lithium is there. Big other countries come to this country to carry mineral. Nasarawa here in Kogi State, OJ, can supply us the materials we need to power anything we want to power. OJ, this is not rocket science. That's something
don't worry. We'll talk about all this. We'll talk about all this.
God Almighty.
Let's move on to our next paper review this morning. Which one do we have? Which one do we have next? We've talked okay, I think we have leadership. Yes, leadership is here now. All right, ACF Konkosia NNPP flay Kano Assembly's move to impeach deputy governor. ACF Konkosia NNPP flay Kano Assembly's move to impeach deputy governor. So the leadership is interested in the politics happening in the Kano Kano State House of Assembly, where of course yesterday they launched an impeachment proceedings on the deputy governor. They want to impeach the deputy governor, accusing him of stealing some millions of money while as commissioner and now as deputy governor. So the NNPP are actually crying out now. Kwankwasias are crying out, and ACF are crying out. Now, the simple politics happening in Kano politics today, as at this morning, is that the deputy governor refused to follow the governor to
and is likely to be the next candidate for the next election that will stand face to face with the current governor. OJ, this is political calculation, perception, permutations, just name it. That is what is playing out. And now, because he refused to align himself with the latest, status of the current governor now, the Abagida Gida. Of course, you remember that Kwankwaso is a strong figure when it comes to Kano politics. And Kano politics is also a strong decider when it comes to the national politics. Every presidential candidate, once you turn your eye to Lagos, the next place you turn your eye to what? Kano, because they can vote.
Yes.
Well, you can be a particular candidate can be leading by 500,000 or 700,000, And when he will just fold his hand waiting for Kanu votes.
Yes.
But we didn't see that play out last election because the NNPP clinched Kanu and proved their supremacy there. It shows that Kwankwaso knows something, has a grip there. He has full ownership of that particular place.
Of course.
So now the politics is playing out. He is trying to, that is why you see them protecting
the deputy governor.
And the Kwankwasia protecting the deputy governor because like you said, rightly said, the deputy governor refused to align himself with the current governor in terms of a party defection.
Yes.
And of course, so that's true. That's raises some dust and form of distrust. Okay. In fact, how can the governor and the deputy governor be of separate political parties in the first place?
But maybe maybe the deputy governor believes that the issue of the ideology you always preach about in our political parties.
Party ideology and loyalty.
And loyalty. He feels that look for Abagida to leave the NNPP that they all believe that
all projected them and stood for them, made them who they are.
And at the end of the day, you decamped to APC. For me, I cannot leave my mentor, my master, or my leader, and the party.
Respect for political principles.
Yes, but like you said, if the governor in quotes is his master, because you understand, he's the governor of the state, and you are the deputy, and you belong to another party. Of course, the leadership, there will be this friction, in the states, because why would the master belongs to a party and you belong elsewhere? The best thing is to chase you out and bring
there's no
who's loyal to the
there's no master. Let me tell you, there's no master in that game. Some of this is not the first time it's happening in some states.
We had an example in Edo.
Of course, we had the last of what's it called? And the likes of Shaibu and
Philip Shaibu
and what's it called? Past governor of Edo State.
Yes,
we've seen it. OJ, there's no master anywhere. Some of these governors and deputy governors are planted based on political arrangements. The godfathers will sit down in some state and say, okay, you be the governor.
And this one will be your running mate.
And this will be the SSG.
Yeah.
So nobody brought anybody. They came on their own, based on their own recommendation. But there are godfathers that will tell you, okay, this year, let me go bring a deputy governor. That was okay. They even call some of them and say, do you have candidates for someone you can recommend for us for deputy governor? So the governor did not bring anybody. The governor too was brought in too. In fact, it will make you to interest you to know that in this political game, in this political arrangement, we have people standing by on the list. I have a friend who told me that I'm on the list for the governorship of my state, turn by turn. He already knows when he's likely to be the governor of his state. I have a friend like that. I don't want to call his state. I don't want to call his name. He told me he's a strong man, very strong politician. He told me that I am, in fact, right now we call him the governor as a nickname. We nickname him the governor. That he's on the list, that this thing is done turn by turn. They know the person that will be the governor 2031, the person that will be the governor 2030, allegedly, some parties, political parties, they've arranged it like that. They just play the script like that. It's already scripted, allegedly, like that. Some political parties have done that. So nobody brought anybody. That is why sometimes you see the governor and the deputy governor
always clashing.
Yes, just like the case of even in which other state had it again. I think Zamfara had it at some point.
Fair share of their crisis.
So this is why it's like that. If they do, if there's a situation whereby both of them run independently, we understand. They run joint tickets, and sometimes they bring deputy governors that can carry some weight of votes in terms of votes. Oh, this man is very influential in their area. If you blend this zone, even in your state, they pick from in Benue State. When they pick a team man, the next person they go for is an Idoma man, who is likely to be very influential. And the godfathers in that region will say, okay, we recommend this person to be different. So you don't have the right to sack him or tell him what to do.
But when it comes to politics, the governor, who is the boss, will begin to say, look, if you don't belong to the party, I go there. That means there's no loyalty. But we'll see what pans out in Kano when it comes to the politics in Kano, and see if the deputy governor will be eventually impeached or not. So the process has just begun,
and I'm sure the
power
at the center may probably also have interest in this.
Yes, of course, because this is Kano. All right, so let's go back to the leadership again and quickly look at other stories making headlines there. A drug case against Abba Kyari on course, NDLEA clarifies. Okay, so yesterday, Abba Kyari and his two brothers were acquitted by the court, but the NDLEA is still saying that there's one more case for him to answer. So he's still in their still in prison as at this morning. All right, so FEC, I should say, Federal Executive Council approves approves 100% annual emoluments as gratuity for retiring civil servants. Okay. Okay.
100%.
100%. Okay. So these are some of the stories coming from the leadership, and of course,
this is a juicy one. Actually,
it's a juicy one. And again,
I'm sure by now you should be considering yourself as a civil servant. if your salary is over 500,000 a month,
yes,
I'm sure that your gratuity remains the same. This one, I think the civil servants by now should be singing hallelujah, whatever they are.
Yes. No. Okay, so let's move on from the leadership now to another paper this morning to quickly review the Punch. The Punch has this, headline: U.S.-Iran war, marketers Dangote trade wets over petrol price. Marketers Dangote trade wets over petrol price. And I think this story is talking about how much is the landing cost of petrol, and how much is Dangote selling his his fuel price. That's talking about the gantry price in his refinery. And the debate is that the landing price of petrol is cheaper, is cheaper than that of Dangote. And the Dangote refinery is saying, okay, we dare you to go and import fuel, to import the fuel to the country now that Iran and US and Israel are throwing missiles, everywhere.
Are you going to import it using the airplane? You even bomb the plane.
So that is the war of words from
but my interest in this wars of words is that I want to know who is for or against the masses. That is my interest. Who is for and against?
The marketers are now, from the way the marketers are talking, it's like they are talking for the masses.
Let us know.
But Dangote is saying, look, we dare you
to try it.
So to go and import. What Dangote is telling Nigerians is that forget the war, there won't be scarcity. There won't be scarcity. That's just what they are telling Nigerians. That we just had to react to the present realities of what is going on around the world.
Yes, there won't be scarcity, but there will be hike in price.
That is the hike
as it were now.
Yes.
And but like I said, this whole debate between the two players, let it translate to figures so that we can know landing cost. What is the landing cost, OJ? What is the landing cost? So it's more interesting to know, when this whole banters and the exchange of words or whatever is playing out, they should back it up with figures so that we can look at it and analyze it very well and know who is for or against the masses. Because the next thing you hear, we keep hearing on the front pages of newspaper, this one is kicking against this one, and you're not telling us what the instrument at which you are using to kick. So we can know, okay, are you for us or against? Are you selling for 750? And this one is telling us no, 850. And then it's justifying why his own is 850 and why your own is 750. Because that is what the masses wants to see, OJ. Not this rhetoric, not this English that we are speaking. Let's know who is for and against us in terms of figures. Figures, OJ. I bought fuel yesterday, OJ. Some filling stations, there is no uniform price.
No uniform price.
989, 986, 980, 960. Depending on where your car can carry you to. And sometimes you don't even know until you have moved into the fuel station and you park your car only for you to look at the pump. You look at the pump this morning, 960. You go back in the afternoon, you look at the same pump, 986. The same pump, same fuel station, the same fuel station. So let's know let's the big players come out and let's know where their argument is based on figures.
Okay, so the Punch, that's the Punch newspaper. That's no headline there. So let's continue with the Punch newspaper very quickly. And yes, other stories in the Punch this morning is talking about the Osun governorship election. So campaigns begins March 11 as INEC finalizes, candidates. And so the campaign March 11 is just days from now. So the campaigns will officially kick off for the Osun election.
That would be a very Osun State happens to be the ancestral home of the president, if I'm not mistaken. That's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Osun right about now is not an APC state. I think the governor defected to Accord, stating reasons of internal wrangling within the PDP. That is Adeleke. So I want to see that election will be very interesting because the governor seems to be the daring kind of person who dares to state at your face. And he's not a member of our Accord party. But let's see, maybe probably he's going to defect to APC. We don't know.
Who will defect?
Of course, the dancing.
He has already defected to another party, so he's going to contest on that.
No, whether he's going to defect, maybe that party is a passage to another party. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Is he going to also defect from a Accord party, so that it is down to the ruling party?
The elections are here already.
So campaign
starts in the next 3-4 days. So
that is the state, OJ.
Yes.
That is the state ancestral home.
Yes, of the president.
Of the president.
So what are you insinuating?
Well, let's see who. What we're trying to say that the battle will be fierce.
Okay. All right. So let's look at other headline before we switch to another paper this morning. Quickly. I think the Punch newspaper is also carrying this interesting story. DIG Umba orders retire 7 AIGs for promotion. So finally, DIG Umba will be going, and others. They'll be going there. Okay, so
I thought at some point that they were trying to encourage them to stay and work hand in hand with the current IG.
But we analyzed it here, and you yourself said it will be difficult. It will really be difficult.
Chain of command.
From my even though we've seen pictures of DIG Umba saluting the new IG. Some didn't take it lightly at all. They said no, this shouldn't happen. Like you said, in the military, that cannot happen.
It can't happen. ROC 46 and ROC 47. ROC 46 can never salute ROC 47.
All right. So that's the Punch newspaper. So check out the Punch newspaper in the newsstand this morning, and of course, get all those juicy stories. So let's get another paper quickly on the screen and see what they have for us. So I think, which one do we have now? The Guardian. Yes, the Guardian. How weak safety nets make senior citizens street beggars destitute. How weak safety nets make senior citizens street beggars and destitute. Old age distress. So the Guardian is interested on how we treat our senior citizens. These days the economy is not smiling at all. Our senior citizens are becoming beggars, and this story carries everything concerning that, and that's something that the government should.
Senior citizen is in other developed countries, is something that the government pays so much attention
to social welfare for them and all that.
OJ, to interest you that most people who travel from Nigeria or from other parts of the African countries that goes to abroad, what they go to do is to take care of old parents. That is the job welfare. Yes, the government invests heavily on that. And that brings to my point where experience matters, because some of these old parents, some of these government institutions go to consult them. We have old retired professors. We have amongst them, we have engineers, we have pilots who still have some wealth of knowledge. They can also, add to the development of that country before they can go, transit to the great beyond. But here you see a respected professor suffering. And that is why I want to commend the governor of Abia State, His Excellency Alex Oti, that signed into law, stipends, and little support for, senior citizens from the ages of 60 and above. That's for some, because when you get to 60 and above, your body begins to send you some signals. I just climbed the level story building now, OJ. At 60 and 65, 70, I need to apply some form of wisdom before I will try that regularly. So so some of these old parents are weak, their body is giving them signals, and they need money to
survive.
Because
on the streets of Abuja, you see you can see them.
Some of our
you see
pedestrian bridges, under the pedestrian bridges.
On the street, you see them begging and all that. And I think it's very, very interesting to read this article on the Guardian newspaper this morning. So let's check out other headlines before we call it a day on this segment. On the newspaper review this morning, ABGA APC orders spent 9.6 billion in 2025. Anambra Guba polls. Okay, that's interesting story there. 2027, IPAC threatens boycotts as Feni Fere backs Southern presidency. And Dangote Refinery assumes local supply amid global crisis and disruption. Okay. Abba Kyari, the Senate summons NNPCL former bosses over unaccounted 210 trillion naira.
210 trillion.
Yes, that's what they are alleging. They need to come and explain. Of course, we'll see what happens at the hearing.
OJ, this morning, each time I hear this morning, I experience some form of headache. Do you know what's 200? And sometimes you see when they pass our budget, you'll be hearing what we require to run a budget annually is about 13 trillion, 15 trillion, 20 trillion, or 50 trillion. And somebody who will be cutting away with 210 trillion.
They didn't say they cut unaccounted.
When something is unaccounted, the opposite of it is that it's not there.
Unaccounted. They will come and explain. We spend this for this, we spend this for that, this for that. At the end of the day, the numbers may align. And if it does not align, it's okay. We agree.
No, we are not saying that.
So it's unaccounted.
It's unaccounted. That is allegedly. We don't know where the money is for now.
Yes.
But it worries me to hear big figures like this. Do you know why it worries me, OJ?
Yes.
At the end of the day, why can this kind of money be, being unaccounted for? And then we go outside there to borrow. OJ, 210 trillion naira. Put it face to face with what we are owing now. It can go a long way to clear up our debts.
At the end of the day, by the time they reconcile these numbers, what the National Assembly members will be telling you will just be a media trial, just to whip sentiment. May not be up to, by the time he goes there and as the former boss of the NNPCL, and I say, okay, you guys said 210, okay. It's not 210. It's this, it's that, it's that. Okay, out of this money, we did this, we do this, we did that, we did that, we did that. Everything is gone. And you won't hear anything again about this issue again. You understand? So it's just unfortunate.
Well, it's one of
haven't we had probes on the issue of NNPC before? Till today.
How it ended.
How did it end? You understand? So I'm not trying to say they should not probe them. You understand?
They should be more transparent in the outcome.
They will come shout in the media like this, and at the end of the day, we don't know how all this thing goes. Okay, so let's bring up our next paper under review quickly as we try to wrap up. Nigerian Tribune: government wreak havoc in Ondo, Oyo, Kebbi. Disguised as vigilante men to kidnap 4 on Kishi Gbete Road. Adopt wife shoots husband in Ondo. Kill 2 police officers in Kebbi after attack on border posts. We have rescued the Gbeti kidnap victim, Oyo government sources. So these are the riders on this headline: government wreak havoc in Ondo, Oyo, Kebbi. All right, we'll be looking at the issue of insecurity momentarily, so just stay tuned. Sanu issues fresh threats over delay in negotiation of February salaries. Okay. Senator Dixon dumps PDP, joins NDC. It's season of jumping ship from one party to the other.
I call it jump. The way some of our politicians jump from one party to the other, it makes me maybe we are having some form of is a sports festival for jumping, because some of us should compete favorably at the Olympics for high jump, pole jump, and the rest, because we keep jumping. And this brings us to what we discussed yesterday. There's no internal principle, democratic principles, and internal democracy policies. Guardian, you don't have philosophy that you adhere to. Democracy and party politics should be more or less like a religion. You should be very loyal and believe in the tenets of that, party. But you see, just like we have in other countries, even in Ghana, South Africa, we have those kind of, political party, they play the politics in such a way that you see the NCR or you see the whatever party, people follow it religiously, like as though the way the football fans follow their football teams. But here, it's like school uniform.
All right.
Then you can wear this color, tomorrow you wear that color. Within a twinkle of an eye, you are wearing, and young people are watching.
Of course. So let's move on and let's look at our last paper for the morning quickly. Yes, Blueprints is next. And 15 years after Tinubu resolves historic OPL 245 dispute. That's talking about the oil industry, issue there, and Tinubu has resolved it. He's a man who resolves a lot of issues.
No, the president gave it to him. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is known for one person who knows how to negotiate for peace. He knows how to carry along everybody, regardless of if Tinubu can bring into his cabinet the likes of Mokri and the rest of them, then shows that he has a large heart politically, and that works for him. He understands that principle of let's work together regardless of our divide, regardless of what must have happened in the past. And that's a good one. That's a good one for him. Honestly, give it to him. I commend him. And any politicians who have such kind of heart, large heart, it's going to be difficult to unseat them. It's going to be difficult to face them when it comes to political issues. I respect President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Trust me, he's a man we should study politically, because these are some of the things that we find difficult in other politicians doing. They keep all kinds of political enemies everywhere, and they show it. But he has a way of reaching out to whoever you are, whether you are against him at the front of the newspaper, front of the television. I've seen people castigate President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the next thing you see them, put it on his emblem, and your mandate we shall stand.
All right.
There's something he knows, AJ.
All right. So we have to move on. Okay. So, want to, appreciate you for watching us on YouTube. Please do well to subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. And yes, every weekday from Monday to Friday at this time, we are always on with the morning show. Want to appreciate those who are already with us. And don't forget to follow us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at P&B TV_English. Okay, _English at P&B TV_English on our social media handles. Let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll bring more for you on the show. Don't touch the dial. All right, welcome back to the P&B Morning Show, right here on Politics and Business Television. And of course, we are back with our very first issue to be discussed this morning. Now, the appearance of Yoruba Nation activist Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, wearing a cap bearing the logo of the ruling All Progressives No Congress at a public event has sparked intense debate across the country. For many supporters of Yoruba's self-determination movement, the image raised difficult questions about loyalty and the future direction of the struggle he once championed so strongly. So Igboho rose to prominence during the height of tensions in the Southwest, calling for the protection of Yoruba communities and advocating for self-determination. But his recent public appearance alongside political and traditional leaders and the symbolism of wearing an APC branded cap has triggered mixed reactions, with some accusing him of abandoning the cause, while others argue it may simply be a pragmatic move for survival and reintegration into Nigeria's political space. Now, so this morning we asked the difficult question: has Sunday Igboho softened his stance on the Yoruba nation struggle? Is this a case of political survival after years of exile and pressure? Or does it signal a deeper shift in the movement itself? And what does this mean for the future of the Yoruba self-determination campaign? That's our conversation this morning. And with me in the studio is Chidi Kenneth and, of course, Ibrahim Shaibo. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, OJ.
Good morning, AJ.
Yes. Okay, so where do we start the conversation? Let's begin the conversation with this question. Is Sunday Igboho under pressure, or is trying to say, okay, this trouble, my hands are off? That after all, it's my brother that is at the helms of affair in the federal level, so no more struggle. So is this a betrayal to those who have sacrificed their life for the cause he triggered? So what is your take, Ibrahim Shaibu, on this latest development concerning this? Do I call him now former agitator?
No, he's still a struggler. He's still a freedom fighter. Because even this morning I was reading a paper or a report that like yesterday he gathered a group of his followers and started I don't want to use the word attacking some estate management consultant or asset management operators around Ibadan. So he's still an agitator. He's still an activist for Yoruba self-determination. But I will see this rather as maybe a political strategy rather than a betrayal. Because we know and we are familiar that oftentimes you see political activism turn into, activism in whatever form, even like labor activism, in the ultimate end up in political games, exactly, and games or gains. But so we see how the Labour Party was created out of the labor union, and now they become very dominant political front in Nigerian political system. So I would rather say it's a political strategizing, not actually a betrayal of the Yoruba struggle for self-determination.
Do you agree with? Do you agree with?
No, I think it's both ways. First of all, let me say that Sunday Igboho, the agitation for the Yoruba nation as it is now is dead.
Is dead
completely because the internet don't forget. When you look at the internet yesterday, you will see what they wrote. The more you see, the less you understand. You know, this is one person who's raised so much dust about the Yoruba nation, who has his equivalent of the likes of Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB, according to one of the historians. And today Nnamdi Kanu is in prison. These are people who fought for regional independence, creation of your own country. You go your own way, make I go my own way. At some point, he was arrested. He was detained. I think he was in prison also from Benin Republic also. And after some time, we didn't hear from him. He was granted pardon. He was free. And the next thing, for a man of that kind of status, that the whole world has seen him as one who fought for a particular cause, is now wearing the cap of a political party. It calls for questioning, OJ.
Now, can't we now look at it as trying to align or, trying to soften its stance because it is President Bola Tinubu that is there? Maybe in the next 8 years now, it might not come up again with struggle when someone like Bola Tinubu is no longer there, because he did all this under President Muhammadu Buhari.
OJ, let me tell you something. Agitations like that in today's world, political world, agitation is a way of attracting political attention. Some of these agitations you see is masterminded. Allegedly, they are masterminded because at the end of the day, you see, those days people use protests. Protests no longer work. Now it has graduated into, agitations like this. And when it gets to that level, even the loss of life doesn't matter. It matters at your level. But up there, it doesn't matter. What matters is the end justify the means. It's the Machiavellian, principle. So looking at Sunday Igboho coming to wear this cap has defeated the whole idea of the fight for the Yoruba nation. He can't come out tomorrow and say it.
I think I don't agree with your point of view. I beg to differ. You see, activism like that sometimes take different approach depending on the situation you find yourself in. Sometimes it requires you to go into political diplomacy in order to see how you can be able to achieve your objectives, even within the struggle for self-existence of the Yoruba. And then don't forget that right now we have a president that comes from the same region from which Igboho himself came from. Do you understand?
But is that
yes?
Because he was actually fighting for Odua Republic.
And yes, that
Republic, as it were.
I agree. But then different circumstances require different approaches. I am not even saying he may be, he is still an activist. He's still a person that is struggling and agitating for the existence, for independence of Dua Congress. See, I think everything boils down to what he does next, not what he did now. Let's see. After wearing that symbolism, what happens next? You cannot be empty and say, no, I think we should now completely separate him from this agitation movement. Let's see what happens next. It's too early for us to be able to determine whether or not.
When you say, let's see what happens next, it calls for concern. So are we now saying, okay, he's trying to use democracy now to relaunch himself again, or because the Nigerian state was against him. You understand? Since his passport he was about to fly to Germany, and then Benin Republic helped Nigeria to arrest him and detain him. You understand? He took some of the
all those noise and all those
yes,
things.
and now
see, OJ, imagine Nnamdi Kanu wearing the cap of a political party tomorrow. You want to tell me the sit at home, the killings and whatever, the agitation, life wasted, and the end of the day,
let's wait for the time that we see an Igbo person at the helm of affair and see what Nnamdi Kanu will do. I think
there's some tribal connection to all these things?
No, I think it's just re-strategizing on the part of Igboho and his team, because he just wore a cap that has an emblem of a particular political party. Nobody said he is a registered member of that particular party, and he did not open his mouth and say, hey, gentlemen, I now put down all my agitation in search of the independent.
Let me yes. Mr. Shaibu. Communication is verbal and non-verbal. Communication itself. You are wearing a dress. Looking at you, somebody automatically will know, okay, you're from a particular part of the country. Most likely. You don't need to talk where you're from. When you see somebody who costumed with what we call the Ishiago and the Ogundi Chie.
You know what part of country he is.
You don't need to tell you're an Igbo man.
And the occasion he went to.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking to.
Yes.
I understand.
Yes, so you
understand the person.
You should understand you should understand the sensitivity of his personality prior to this time. Vis-a-vis the situation now. Wearing a political party cap is enough statement. You don't need to talk. It shows a lot of water has gone under the bridge.
Exactly.
Looking at, that's why I said, imagine an Nnamdi Kanu wearing the cap of a political party.
Now,
do you know what is going to happen?
Exactly.
And I like the fact that you say, let's wait when an Igbo man is the president. That was why I said, okay, is he now looking at... You see,
no, because you make an example of in the Kanu. If you have made an example of another person, I have said, okay, well, let's
two of them have, of course, they all agitated for different regions. Now what I'm trying to say, you see, when I say that, it seems to me, allegedly, that agitations like this are now a way of gaining political attention.
Yes, in a way, so.
In a way. So now, if anybody comes out tomorrow for any agitation, people might not likely take them serious.
Are you? Is that the new development we might, get?
Yes, if somebody comes out tomorrow and says, "Okay, I'm agitating for the Middle Belt nation,"
so nobody will henceforth take them seriously.
Reference to
what happens to
people will make reference to this one, OJ. No. That's how we saw. In fact, let me even shock you. Some people are already saying that there's every likelihood that Nnamdi Kanu will be released.
I heard something like that somewhere too.
Yes. So I will not be surprised tomorrow if Nnamdi will be released. And they will release him probably. So see, let's like when our local powers, let's shine our eyes.
Well, me actually, I see human beings are political animals by nature, and our life entirely revolves around politics. So you understand, whatever we do, whatever our thinking is, it always revolves around politics. That is why I always find it easy to, at the initial stage, to actually express my views or opinion over something. I always need to give time to see what happened next. This is the first action. So I want to see what that action will lead to before for me, just too early.
Okay, now let's now assume in 2031.
Yes.
A Sunday Igboho now comes up again and starts shouting Oduduwa Republic.
Nobody will take him serious, OJ.
Nobody take but what would the Nigerian state do to him then? If taking I'm just trying
to on who is sitting
as the president. My opinion. Yes. It's not a general opinion.
Did you see that video? Did you see the video? He was not alone. He was escorted by some men. Everybody around him, left, right, front, back, they were all wearing the cap.
Wow.
Not only him.
That's why I
gave an example.
That speaks volume.
Yes, that's why I gave the example of costumes. The discipline I studied in school made me to understand the power of costumes. If you are costumed, OJ, in a particular way, if you wear pure white, even your steps will change. The way you walk, the way you sit, the way you talk. That's the power of color.
Because the influence.
Yes, that white
attire that I own.
You don't just sit anyhow. You look very well. You're careful. You don't walk close to the mud. Any incoming vehicle you try to avoid. Subconsciously, unconsciously, you behave. That's the power of costume and color. And now you're seeing somebody wearing a branded cap openly. A man of that caliber and personality. And you think there's what they call the handwriting on the wall. They say the action speaks louder. What he did is action. He didn't talk. But he has spoken even louder than the person that is talking. In fact, all of our talk put together is not as loud as that wearing that cap. Are you aware that there's some celebrities that they gave a particular cap of the carrying the emblem of the president? And is it Deji, this activist?
Yes.
They gave him the cap. They gave him the cap carrying the emblem of the president, and he rejected it. The video trended everywhere. Because the people understand the interpretation of certain things that you're putting.
Well, there are some
power it carries.
There are some opposition struggle or movement also within the Yoruba race as well. There are people like Ilana Odua or something like that. These people are also watching to see how Igboho's behavior will now how they will respond to that Igboho behavior. But up to now, none of them made any statement about that. I was expecting to hear some statement, especially from Ilana Odua. He's also just like a rival faction to this Igboho, Sunday Igboho. So that is why sometimes I want to listen. I want to hear what the rival groups will say. I want to see even what the government or representative of the government will say. I understand your concern. Yes. I understand your concern, especially when my brother here, Chidi, said attire or colors means so much. Sometimes it speaks louder than words. I agree with you. I'm not saying no. You understand? But I also still stand on my belief that there's a lot more for us to know before we just conclude.
Do you know that And did you listen to the speech by one of his royal fathers recently, where he openly addressed the Oni of Ife?
Yes.
And said, I know that you are preparing to award him a chieftaincy title. Very serious one at that. The speech is everywhere in the internet.
Okay, now, so, gentlemen, are we now saying that Sunday Igboho is somebody going forward? Nobody should take him serious again, Yoruba land, letting him join politics, and should not agitate for any freedom for the Yoruba race anymore, and that the government, the Nigerian government, have done a wonderful job by putting pressure on him and him succumbing.
Well, I want to agree both ways. Let me tell you something about. Yes. Let me answer you. It is not the perception of his people doesn't matter now. It is the perception of other divides. Those from the north, from the east. The perception of the Yorubas now doesn't matter about him. I'm telling you frankly the way it is now. He is a Yoruba man, and from what you just said this morning, most likely the current president is also a Yoruba man. So
not most likely, he is a Yoruba man.
Yes, the current president is a Yoruba man. Yes. Igboho is a Yoruba man. See, OJ, these are interpretations that will be given. It's out there. We see these things. It's just like you're putting on suit and somebody's coming to tell me you're wearing native. It's clear. Now, the perception, it beholds on the other region of the country.
So, in addition
what is going on? Can you imagine what is going on in the mind of an Igbo man now? Saying that thing. You can't tell.
You can't tell. And
this can lead to further disintegrating the unity of the country.
No, I think
you need to understand the power of
the agitation for regional independence is what will actually distort the unity of this country. Do you understand? And what I see even more in this is that this may be a strategy towards winning the 2027 election. It's not surprising if the government is able to pull Igboho into its fold, because we are still seeing the evidence of this happening. Even governors are being motivated these days to change their political leanings and do
that kind of person. No, but a separate.
Is he not a human being? Is he stronger than governors? Governors are being pulled. Who is Igboho? And then again, wait a minute, allow me to laugh.
Yes.
This will create an opportunity for the other opposition, for the other competing groups. Just like I told you, there's this Ilana person, and there's even another one. I think there are about 3 different separatist organizations among the Yoruba race. Yes, of course. I think this will now bring them out.
Powerful.
You may have power today and you may be weakened in the next. That's what I'm saying.
What we are looking at here is we're not talking of putting up just an ordinary cap. A cap, we have so many political parties.
Exactly.
Why a particular one?
Why the ruling party?
That is
it speaks volume. Now there's something I told you something. The perception right now is in the hands of other side of the divide.
The way you guys are talking, let me tell you something. The way you guys are talking, it's like the government will always, or people always like people that struggle and perform activism in search of separation. While the government is always trying to discourage these things. For me, if the government is able to discourage him and even to pull it into his what I think for me is an achievement. It's time that we start advocating for unity, not agitating for people that always call for secessionists or separation.
Okay, why is it?
You are just expressing your opinion. For you, it is not okay for somebody that is involved in this struggle to give up. That is for you. Then for other Nigerians, and then there are millions of Nigerians that for them this is okay. It's fine. We wish. There are people that are even wishing that Kanu
I like that point.
There are people that are wishing that Nnamdi Kanu should abandon his struggle for.
I agree.
For the government,
they are not getting my point.
Such struggle for the government is disturbing to the government.
No, let me tell you the truth. You are very correct. I believe in one Nigeria. Then why are you thinking that for this guy to now give up? Even if he's giving up this struggle, you cannot say that you're not happy because he's giving up this struggle.
No, right now.
Why not? It doesn't matter.
Why now? Why is it that? Why is it that it is under the government of someone from?
No, let me.
Is it all this? A northerner?
My brother, let me tell you, as Nigerians, even if we do not face it, we are all internally.
The question I'm asking, there is a reason going to see him again.
Mr. Would
this be the
before I answer your question?
Yes.
There's something Mr. Ibrahim is missing here. I am in support of national cohesion.
Yes.
Exactly. Or national unity. Right?
And unity.
Yes.
Oh, and I'm the kind of drop your agitation. Sunday will drop it. We don't wear a political party cap. That's not national unity. We have other national caps. You can wear green, white, green.
And I agree with you.
You can support the government and say,
Sunday will can wear green, white, green face cap. That is telling me. I told you the power of color. I just mentioned the power of color and costume.
And I agree with you.
You should have worn a cap carrying green, white, green, and they will now put people bringing them together. Maybe draw a symbol of.
He has accepted.
He has accepted. Do you understand? Wearing a political party cap is what is raising the dust.
Yes.
Because we have other political. Well, okay, or probably wear a cap that has all the political caps.
These are the possibilities.
Yes. To say, okay, I'm in Nigeria. I'm not endorsing anybody.
Or just appear.
I don't know if you understand.
Yes.
I agree with you. Okay, look at your cap. So with this cap you're wearing, I can put the logos of all the political parties around it.
So that
would make sense.
No, okay, seriously, guys. For me, actually,
wearing a particular and knowing fully well that the person in the head of affair is a member and is
the leader of that political.
Well, actually, at this level, we may not know what went under the bridge. We may not know. Maybe it will gradually upstate.
I think I went under this bridge. This going under the bridge. We may get to know contractors in that bridge.
We may get to know what actually happened in the nearest future. Then at that time, we'll be able to actually preempt or now give our conclusion as to whether or not what Sunday Igboho did is actually okay. But for me right now, I think no government will want to be comfortable with seeing any agitation for secessionist activity. In fact, isn't that the reason why
we are not even comfortable with it?
Exactly. Right now we are at a very sensitive period. I think we are our unity is very fragile, and then we are not even looking for anything that can add to that fragility of our unity. I think whatever we do, we should try and achieve a certain level of peace and unity, especially now. Considering what happened globally.
Try to wrap up.
Listen, let me tell you something.
Yes.
Leave it or take it. What Sunday Igboho has done will further deplete the unity you are talking about. Politically, in the political hemisphere now. He shouldn't have won the cap. Do you know how other parties?
What you are now saying is that he's supposed to have been independent of any political party.
Wear a cap that is carrying green, white, green. We understand. Wearing a political party cap. So, what do you think the likes of those in other opposition parties like ADC will be saying?
That's why I told you political thinking is dynamic. We may not even know at this stage whether him and his team have decided that, look, guys, I think the only way we can achieve our dreams is by being politically conscious and being a part of a certain political organization. You have to join a trend before you begin to think
that is a fascist ideology. So from this explanation, it calls for us to be worried as a nation. If, for instance, this could be the reason why he's now like accepting the Nigerian state.
And the agenda that he drove.
Fascist may be. Yeah, no, I think it's just my thinking. I'm also telling to us that we are not saying because you've mentioned
there may be other reasons.
There may be other reasons, but you've said let's see what happens in the future. Because we've seen a fascist, the likes of Adolf Hitler and
Adolf Hitler is the most popular.
Adolf Hitler and co, who are called fascists that we know. What do? They embrace democracy to destroy democracy. That is what they did. So you understand? So this could just be what he's about to do. Okay, let me embrace the truth.
Don't put words into my mouth.
No. I'm just making it.
I put it to them. I say the handlers of both did not do a good job.
They
did not do a good job.
They didn't do a good job for him.
Yes.
But it may be the beginning of his fall. That's why I mentioned other opposition groups. There are people that are
let me give you some
hope. This is the beginning of his fall.
Yes, it may also be so.
Let me give you a popular figure that if you had won a political party cap,
Mm.
it could be pardoned. When you talk of the likes of Showore,
Exactly.
he didn't fight for sex.
He's not. He's an active. He's an
activism. He's an activist too.
Yes.
So if you decide to go a political
separatist
cap, but yes,
Mm.
that could be pardoned.
Mm.
But what if somebody that said, "I don't want to be part of this country.
Mm.
I want to be my." In fact, he declared himself that I'm no more a Nigerian.
Yes.
Mm.
Now you are back, reinstated back into the society through whatever means,
And even choosing a political platform.
and then now
Chose a political
he
platform.
is now a politician.
Exactly. That is why I also
So we need
opine
to be
that
very
it
careful
may
with
be.
such people.
Yes.
That's why I said.
The character lacks depth, and
That's why I
it's
opine that it may also be the beginning of his fall. And this may be the opportunity that people like Ilana Odua are also looking for, because they are also a very strong movement agitating for the emancipation of the Yoruba race or Yoruba nation. So things happen politically in Nigeria. We're a very heterogeneous society with a complex pattern of politics.
in fact, the costume is so powerful that even when a bandits, even bandits, even
Of
Boko
course,
Haram,
we know.
excuse me, even Boko Haram bandits have their dress code.
That is why we associate our president with a particular symbol on his cap.
Do you understand?
That's why Congo
Even
wears
bandits,
red.
those that are committing banditry, they have dress code.
All right, gentlemen.
Soldiers have dress code.
Yeah, gentlemen, we just have to end the discussion here because we have other things to discuss this morning, and like I always say, time is not
Our friend.
our friend. It's not time is not our friend, so we just have to move on. Let the discussion continue. The discussion, the issue of Sunday Igboho, and of course, APC. Is it a betrayal of the Yoruba struggle or political survival? We'll be going for a quick break. And when we return, we'll look at another issue that is really affecting us as citizens of this country. Please, don't go away. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the P&B morning show right here on Politics and Business Television Abuja. I still remain Omike Joseph Matthew. Now, Nigeria's fight against insurgency in the northeast is once again raising serious concern. Reports from Igoshi in Wuza local government area of Borno State indicate that suspected Boko Haram fighters attacked a military base and an IDP camp, killing some military personnel and reportedly adopting dozens of women and children. The incident has renewed fears about the safety of vulnerable communities and the persistence of terrorist attacks in the region. For years, Nigerians have been told that insurgents have been largely defeated, yet repeated attacks continue to challenge that claim. With fresh calls for a decisive military offensive in Sambisa Forest and the Mandara Mountains, many are asking an independent question. Is Nigeria truly winning the war against Boko Haram? Or does the country need a new strategy to end the insurgency once and for all? Still with me in the studio is, of course, Ibrahim Shaibu, our in-house analyst, and, of course, Chidi Kenneth. And in a moment, we'll be joined by a security consultant right here in Abuja, who, of course, will be joining us virtually. So, gentlemen, good morning to you.
Yes, OJ, once again, good morning.
Good morning.
Once again.
Good morning, viewers. Once again.
All right. So any moment from now, we hope that Jonathan Isaac will be joining us. But while we wait for Jonathan Isaac to join us, gentlemen, we are back to the issue of insecurity in the country, and Boko Haram is it's like they have raised the tempo. What has happened in Igoshi in Borno State in the past 48 hours, whereby reports of some of our security personnel being killed, even though the Nigerian military has not come out to officially tell us whether it is true or not. But pictures of tanks being burnt and houses burnt, and reports of over 100 women and children adopted is now in the media. What is going on? What is going on? Ibrahim Shaibu.
Well, it is very unfortunate and very sad that we are still battling with this insurgency problem, particularly as related to Boko Haram for the past 15 years. I am from Borno State. I know the pain and I know how much people we have lost. The loss is colossal, both in human lives and assets. And then government has tried its best over years to try to curtail this problem, but all still is unavailable. Therefore, I think there may be something that the government is not doing right, because this particular insurgency has different dimensions to it. First of all, it is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. It is trans-border. It involves all these lectured countries involving Nigeria, Niger, Cameroon, and some part of Nigeria, Niger, Cameroon, and Chad, exactly. So it makes it very difficult because geography. The terrorists are taking advantage of the very complex geography of Borno. Borno has one of the most difficult terrain in West Africa, where you have places like the Sambisa Forest, the Lakeside region, very complicated areas. And then what these people do normally is for them to come out, strike, and then run across the borders.
As a guerrilla approach. Exactly.
They run across the border only to resurface again. The whole thing becomes so like transitional or sometimes cyclic. That is why sometimes whatever style the government put in place to fight them, they always have to continuously be changing their tactics, because it's guerrilla warfare. It's not like the normal conventional warfare. I think that is it. That is why government is always finding it difficult. For over 15 years, they couldn't actually win the war against terror up till now.
But at one point they say they have, tactically, decimated, the terrorists. But this time, these terrorists have the goals of attacking military formations.
Yes, they did in that time, because if you look at it now, I think they are more or less related to the remote rural areas. Before now, in those days, they were able to take a large chunk of Borno State. I think between 2014 to 2015, they were even in control of some regions. You remember that? Yeah. So, but now they are mostly largely in the rural settings, particularly in areas that are far away from civilization or something like that. I can say places like Guzamala, Abadam, Marti, these areas are very far away from the main city center or from semi-urban local governments. That is why they also have their intelligence.
Soft targets.
Exactly, soft targets, where there's no clear government presence there.
Yeah.
You understand? So that is why I think the thing is becoming very, very elusive for our military. But that doesn't mean that our military cannot put in place a plan that can able to root out this thing once and for all. Particularly now that I think we have some US base around the Borno area. I think maybe by the time this US base, although they say the essence of that base is only for training and intelligence sharing, but I think it's about time we use that intelligence sharing and even training to be able to take advantage of this opportunity and then fight this terror once and for all. Because actually they are causing a lot of harms. They are causing a lot of loss of lives around those areas in Borno State and neighboring states like Adamawa and to some extent Yobe.
So, Achidi, what's your take on the news, the unfortunate news from Borno State and Northeast generally? Yeah, of course, it appears the Boko Haram has, resurfaced with their activities.
OJ, if I want to start talking about this issue of Boko Haram, we might not leave this place. This is a story, and these are unfortunate events that become our current reality.
Exactly.
And I see we have had so many stories surrounding this Boko Haram issue. Some came out for some point and said there's a business angle to it. Some came out and said, oh, there's some international connection with it. That is, the business angle in the sense that we have very rich mineral resources in large quantity deposited there. Californium, lithium, and the rest of them. And that some form of illegal mining is going on, and protection, that area needs to be protected. Now, if you look at the region where these terrorists are operating, they are not cosmopolitan areas. They are not even
deep rural settings.
They are not even metropolitan areas. These are areas that are almost out of the cities,
far away semi-urban local government.
And if you look at Borno State, if you've driven by road to Borno, you can, from Abuja to Borno, you can get to the entrance of Borno in 5 hours. But inside Borno, you are driving for another 4 hours to 5 hours.
There are places from Maiduguri that you can travel for almost 5 hours.
Gentlemen, I'm very sorry to cut your thought there. Let's quickly introduce our guest who has joined us virtually this morning. Jonathan Isaac, good morning to you. Jonathan Isaac?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. Nice having you on the P&B Morning Show this morning.
Good morning to you. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Hello?
I think we need to...
I think you need to unmute. You need to unmute your speaker.
Okay, I think we'll try and sort out the technical issue there. We can hear you, and I hope that you can hear me. Once we sort out the technical issue, now we'll rejoin Jonathan Isaac. So please, can you continue your thought, Chidi? Yeah.
Yes, like I was saying. So we've had so many issues. We even have some strong, high many Nigerians coming out to say things that resembles or looks like the business. I think I listened to one of the radio interview of with Mustafa when he was making some in-depth analysis of what is responsible of how Boko Haram came into being. And you remember the former president Abacha, blessed memory, said, when you see insurgency of that nature not being tackled after a week, that
after 24 or 48 hours,
48 hours,
the government has a hand in it.
Yes. So the question I want to even ask myself is, OJ, what do we really believe about this Boko Haram thing? Because it's looking like it's unending. At some point, it could, because there was a time President Jonathan, few months before his election, swung into action, and we saw that the whole thing went down. And I think he lost. That was the election he lost. And then we have Muhammad Buhari said, shoot at sight. Now we have had all kinds of government policies all geared towards this, eradication of these terrorist activities, and yet it is still resurfacing.
I think
we've even had some military of soldiers allegedly coming out to say that they're set up to kill some of them or something. We've had issues allegedly. We've had a lot of issues, a lot of stories around this Boko Haram. So what I'm trying to say is that the issue of Boko Haram is becoming so pathetic that one is beginning to lose idea or not even know what to say about it anymore. It's beginning to look like something that is more, part of our lifestyle now in Nigeria. It has come to stay because government do you know we have changed a lot of service chiefs?
Exactly. So many.
And each one will come and promise brimstone and fire. I'm going to do this. At the end of the day, we still hear it. How can the Boko Haram come and, attack military base and kill soldiers and, destroy our missions? And you see some of them doing videos and transmitting these videos for everybody to watch.
Yeah, so let's see if we can join Jonathan Isaac once more. Jonathan Isaac, can you hear me?
Good morning, I can hear you.
Okay, nice having you this morning. Yes, we can also hear you and see you this morning. Jonathan Isaac, of course, is a security consultant, and it is nice having you this morning on the program. Now, we're looking at the issue of the attacks of Boko Haram in some communities in Borno State and, of course, in the north-east axis. As someone who is familiar with this development of insecurity in Nigeria, what can you tell us about the recent resurgence of Boko Haram? Is it that they have up their game, more than what many of us thought?
Yes, the resurgence of the insurgents across the south and the northeast and the northwest of the country are seen in Borno State, Zamfara State. It's a routine, and that has been over the years. Unfortunately, the government has seems to, have a relapse on the cure of insecurity. Yes, there are issues here and there. Most especially the plans for 2027, and that has whittled down the concentration of the government on some of those issues. But it's very important that we prioritize the safety over the years, how in various fronts did their best. Unfortunately, their best is not enough to mitigate this challenge. And that also brought in the military, or the JTF, and then the creation of regional security as seen even in the southeast. We've seen all of that, including southwest, but that has not been able to mitigate the challenge. So I came to realize that the only solution to Nigeria insecurity is the internal policing. And that lies so much on the Nigerian police. Nigerian police have done well in some instances, but again, we have to charge them up to see how best they can come up with intelligence, visibility policy, and ensuring that Nigerian state is free from banditry and the whole lot of it, terrorism.
Yeah, Jonathan, hello, Mr. Jonathan. Sorry for cutting you short there. You are talking about the Nigerian police should be given the opportunity to do the work of intelligence and all that. We are talking about terrorist group that will have the guts of attacking the military formation like the way they did 48 hours ago. Do you think the Nigerian police can do all this? Can fight these terrorists when the military is finding it difficult to contain their activities?
The Nigerian police is the only institution that is best able with the power of internal security.
Yes.
They have the intelligence know-how. They have the capacity to track and crack down these criminals. Unfortunately, there's a whole lot of, competent eggs within the force now. And that has made it a bit difficult for them to, go in there and bring in those bad guys. There's no war that a Nigerian police cannot fight internally when it has to do with internal policing. We must reactivate and redesign this security architecture that will accommodate the Nigerian policing structures and intelligence sharing formula to be able to comb what we are having within the Nigerian space. If you go to any local community, you will see an outpost, you will have a Nigerian police division. These are people that are closer to the community where these operations happen. And like the acting inspector general of police have signaled commitment to that, he assured Nigerians that it will not be as business as usual. So, internal policing, safety of lives and properties will be prioritized, and officers who have found wanting will be dealt with. These are Nigerian police that have the capability and the capacity to be able, with the intelligence of the Interpols, the IGP monitoring unit, held by the One Fakorede, the CP Fakorede, and all other good heads in the Nigerian police force, have been able to repatriate people like Gudan Dekano, have been able to track high criminals within the Federal Capital Territory, the northeast and the northwest. All they need to do is to give them support. They must earn the community trust and, very importantly, the Nigerian trust. And that is why we must continue to support them with intelligence-driven information. We share those intelligence and begin to trust the Nigerian police.
Okay.
Not until that, we can have an effective Nigerian policing without the cooperation of the Nigerian people.
Okay.
I can give you an instance. A whole lot of crimes have been busted with the help of intelligence from the IGP monitoring unit under the current CP faculty. If most Nigerians understand the terrain and understands the workabilities of the Nigerian police force, there is no crime too hard for the Nigerian police force to crack down. Even the Nigerian police force that we have been able to neutralize criminals, terrorists within these various zones. The issue is that we are also politicizing our issue of insecurity.
Okay, all right. Jonathan Isaac, we have limited time, but my colleagues here have one or two questions to quickly ask you, regarding this issue we are discussing this morning. So, quickly, gentlemen.
Okay, Mr. Jonathan, once again, welcome. Can you hear me? Okay, I want to ask you a very sensitive question. Now, looking at this issue of the Boko Haram that is looking like it's an unending, ordeal to this nation, do you see any possible international connection or influence to this whole Boko Haram thing in Nigeria? Do you see any possible international influence? Because it's looking like from the way you are talking, you have a lot of security experts in Nigeria that have profiled so many solutions, and yet it seems not to be yielding the desired result. So do you see a sabotage, international sabotage on this whole Boko Haram saga?
First, let us start with a list of the sponsors of terrorism in Nigeria. The former National Security Advisor has once told Nigerians that there are about 400 sponsors of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Unfortunately, until he left office, those lists we never saw. We must start from that angle to know the domesticated part of it before we even go far talking about the international support. Yes, every terrorist organization have their funding patterns, have their cells, and no doubt most times there are international interests, and no doubt there are times that they get their funding from international communities. But in the case of Nigeria, Nigeria has become a case, a country of particular concern as dictated by the President of America. I see that what is killing the bees lives in the bees. And again, Nigerian insecurity seems to be homegrown. We must, while we look at those kinetic approach to issues of insecurity, we must look at the non-kinetic approach to some of those issues. Nigeria has a great line of poverty with history of almost about 50% living below poverty line. If that rate is not threatening, to me, it is already threatening. If you go to Iceland, you hardly see issues of war crime because their government have been able to provide for them what is due to them. The Nigerian government is not considering the issues of poverty, illiteracy, and the upward shift from government. Until this administration, not until this administration, we would have known the actual payment of what they call fuel subsidy. And so, government has to be transparent. They have to cut down the cost of governance because these are issues that also borders on issue of insecurity. Because when the people begin to perceive upward shift from the government, it also triggers some sense of insecurity.
Okay.
We will give to the people what belongs to the people. Again, let me summarize by saying here that when we talk about issues of insecurity, I give you an instance of the last case of Zamfara, where the governor told Nigerians that he knows where the bandits are, but unfortunately, he has not been able to aid the intelligence. They have not been able to aid the Nigerian police within the state, mobilize them to bring those suspect people. Now, I want to summarize by saying again that when there are issues of insecurity happen within the local government. It happens within a council ward. It happens within a constituency of the House of Assembly member. It does also happen within a constituency of the House of Representatives. It also happens within a constituency, a senatorial district of a senator. All of these components will also include the religious and traditional rulers have a role to play in the issues of insecurity.
All right.
Okay.
Most of the communities, share those things happen. They know those people.
All right.
Those people, they live with it. Because identify those that are threats to the Nigerian security and national peace and bring them to book.
Mr. Isaac, there are people that think maybe there are certain factors that have reduced the operational effectiveness of the fight against Boko Haram. Factors like the allegations of military structural problems such as corruption in defense procurement and poor troop welfare, and then socio-economic factors like you have just said, like extreme poverty and even unemployment and weak governance and low education. What is your take on that?
Yes, corruption has become it's a systematic and political corruption, and it has become another war that the Nigerian government must fight. In this country, you are aware that there was a time we had a minister, or I think a chief of army staff, chief of defense staff, that told Nigerians that what his predecessor said were procured were not seen, and they can lay hands on them. What we saw thereafter was a case of an unfortunate airstrike or whatever that took the man's life. In this country, we have also heard that some dollars were found in the house of the former chief of army staff. What we got later was that money belongs to contractors. A lot of things. That is why I concluded earlier that by saying that what is killing the beans lives in the beans. A lot of corruption is ongoing within the political space and security informations. We have seen a situation where some of the soldiers have also accused generals of having link with the bandits that have not been treated. We feel that the more there is more insecurity, the more there is more budget projection. The money and the ransom paid between 2024 and 2025 can also finance our military operations. Why are we budgeting so much for the military when we are not in war, when Nigerians are still paying ransoms to kidnappers, bandits, terrorists? So we must look at the corruption and look at those that are aiding and abetting crime within the community. Again, when we talk about corruption also must do with Nigerians. Nigerians are also aiding corruption. When they say bail is free, for instance, within the Nigerian police force, is bail free? These are questions we must ask. And that is why the current police must undergo reforms before we can talk about anything effective state police.
All right.
Now, talking about the corruption that has taken over our military space. How effective have we been able to cope crime within the domain of the war college? How effective have we been able to cope crime within the domain of even the force of the police formation? In this country, a general was killed. A general was killed. There was no investigation. Those behind have not been apprehended. They have not been prosecuted. We need a lot of actions and political will of the president.
Okay.
To ensure that corruption will be taken out of the force.
All right, Jonathan Isaac. In 60 seconds, can you quickly answer this question from me as we try to wrap up? Should Nigeria seek stronger regional and international military cooperation to finally defeat Boko Haram? Because it appears now like this thing, the Nigerian military can no longer handle it again. But there are those who argue against this. But looking at regional cooperation and international cooperation, is this the way out, finally?
The answer is yes at a point, another time it is no. I will break it down in simple terms. The United States of America gave a Christmas gift to Nigerians and target a strike of precision that some Nigerians have questioned. Those, where are the terrorists killed in that operation? While international partnership is important and key to advancing, the fight against insecurity in Nigeria, it will be more better and more professional that the United States of America with other partners give to Nigerian government and the Nigerian security architecture or Nigerian security operatives the intelligence, since they have the geographical map of where those individuals reside, where those individuals congregate, because what Nigeria lacks at the moment is intelligence gathering. Intelligence gathering from the communities, within the neighborhood watch and all of that, we lack it. Because before there will be airstrike, before there's going to be any attack, people must come together They will have a meeting, they will have a discussion. So that is where we lack the intelligence. And I think that's what the intelligence of America is doing. Knowing where they are, knowing where they are congregating, and then dropping into what the plans are. So if they have those informations, they can share with the Nigerian police, and again, share with the Nigerian military, the DSS, and the NIA for why they have their boots on ground here, and then they can act swiftly.
All right, yeah,
intervention and airstrike as Nigerians have targeted. You see, there will be question of sovereignty of the country.
Okay.
So we have our boots on ground. They should share the information with us, share the intelligence with us, aid us with all the intelligence gadgets and the things that we should have, and then we'll do the job here. Thank you.
Jonathan Isaac, we must thank you very much for joining us this morning on the P&B Morning Show right here.
Thank you, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on program.
All right, thanks for your expertise. Now, gentlemen, as we wrap up, you've heard from that security expert there. There were so many factors militating against the issue of
the success of the
yes, and to summarize, what do you guys have to say concerning relating to his contribution?
Well, I think I agree with most of the points that he raised. And for me, I will just re-emphasize, re-echo what he mentioned. We need a very strong military regional cooperation between the countries that are around the Lake Chad area, Nigeria, Chad, Cameroon, and Niger Republic. And then we need intelligence sharing network, effective intelligence sharing network. And then we need to take care of our socio-economic problems militating against our people, like absolute poverty. Like you see, the Northeast particularly is the least educated, I think, in Nigeria, particularly the Borno State. So we need to take this, because if this is what the insurgency are taking, I'm finding it very easy to recruit insurgent into their fold, because you see a lot of very strong youth having nothing to do, so they can easily be motivated or enticed to join these things. I think this might take.
All right, Chidi, the final words meant with you.
Well, if I'm to say my final word, I would like to say that Boko Haram should be tackled with every sense of sincerity. Why Boko Haram is still existing is that there's no sincerity. There's no sincerity
on the part of government
in so many areas, because the Nigerian soldiers are known for the best guerrilla soldiers in the world, ground soldiers in the world, one of the best. Of course, we saw that at the Ecomog War, Liberia and the rest of Sierra Leone. We go there, we conquer, we restore peace. Why can't we do it in our own country?
Very impressive international performance.
For 15 years, we'll be fighting
15 years.
Why can't we do this?
Fighting insurgency.
All right,
so if you look at my mood, I'm quiet about it, because I don't just want to.
You don't allow your mood to affect those watching us. So
no, I don't want to talk, because
all right, thank you very much.
Becoming like resounding drums every time.
We have to say every time. We have to continue to say
like a broken record.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. Ibrahim Shaibu, thank you for coming again.
Thank you for having me.
And Chidi, the man who will switch his mood anyhow.
Based on the issues.
Thank you for coming again. So this has been the last edition of the program for the week, and of course we'll be back on Monday with the Monday edition of the P&B Morning Show. Special thanks to the guys behind the scene for doing a very wonderful job as always, and want to say have a wonderful weekend ahead of you. I'm Omike Joseph Matthew. Bye-bye.